Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Dr. Fit live stream. Today, we have a very, very special guest joining us together today, Dr. Lawrence Cresswell. Not only is he an emergency medicine physician, but he is also an attorney. So let's talk about busy. And he still managed to lose 31.2 pounds in 16 weeks.
And still going strong.
Amazing. How does that hit for you, Lawrence?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Like this program has really helped me, and it's really the motivation, it's the teaching, and you guys have taught me how to take control of my life, how to take control of my health. As Mohammed, when we're going through med school, we learn a lot, but nutrition isn't one of the biggest parts of the curriculum. And so when we're out there, we don't know as much about macronutrients. My specialty is emergency medicine, so maybe there's some guys that do, but that wasn't a huge part of my curriculum. A heart attack, a stroke, I got you. But learning about the macronutrients, not so much. But you guys made it simple, and you made it understandable, and it really worked out well.
Yeah, the crazy thing is that we see what happens when you don't take care of your health because that stroke, that heart attack that's coming, it didn't happen overnight. It was brewing over the last
Right.
few decades.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's really empowering to feel like, not only do I understand my body a little better and how it responds to the different foods, and I can even see, when I go off, because I'm not perfect, and even through this program, there have been times where I've fallen off, and I've had to have Coach Seif yell at me and get me back in, get me back, but it's good and it works, and I've learned what my body does and how it responds to the different foods, and it's excellent.
Oh, awesome, man. So, like, Lawrence, I mean, amazing job, man. I mean, congratulations again, man. As we are moving forward, still, we got a little bit more weight loss goals that we're going to hit. But before then, man, like, just question, like, how was life like? What was life like before joining the program? Like, what have you tried? What were some of the pains and the challenges you went through? Like, could you give me a background again of like what were those things that you had done before coming to us?
So absolutely. The biggest thing that I realize is that I'm getting old, and my body is not exactly the same as it was when I was in my 20s and when I was in my 30s. Uh, you know, uh, I went to medical school first, and then after med school, I was working, and then decided to go to law school. But prior to going to law school, I was in pretty decent shape. I used to run Spartan races. I used to kind of keep up with my uh, uh, physical health. And then when I started going to law school, I did 4 years. I did a part-time evening program, so it was 4 years instead of three. And at the same time, I continued to work full-time emergency medicine, all night shifts. My sleep schedule was way off. My eating was not that good. And before you knew it, over those 4 years, I really ballooned up. I gained a lot of weight. And what I noticed is that it wasn't easy to come off like it was before. And I didn't have the energy. I didn't have. I tried things such as Jenny Craig. I tried, my Fitness Pal, where I was just doing some calorie counting and things like that. And I realized, and the biggest thing that I realized through this program is that it's much more than just calorie counting, because you can eat 1,000 calories a day. If it's loaded with sodium, you're going to retain all that water, and you're not really going to lose what you want to lose. And so the at least for me, I'm extremely salt sensitive, and so I learned the importance of the protein. I've learned the importance of the water intake, and the importance of the maintaining those macronutrients in the proper ratio.
How
And
about the
and as
foods?
soon as I got it, yeah,
How about the
and the
foods
right
too, right?
foods.
Like you could eat 1,000
Absolutely.
calories, Lawrence, right, of Twinkies, right?
Right.
And that's not optimizing your health, right? And so you could eat
Exactly.
1,000 calories of all the wrong junk and the horrible processed foods and all the things that are gut killers, right?
Yes.
And you're just not going to get the results you're going to get. Like you might lose a little few pounds, but you're going to lose a lot of muscle with it, right? As you
Right.
learn, right? So it's like, how about those foods, right? Dialing in the foods as well is a big part, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you said Jenny Craig, you said you did My Fitness Pal, which are you mean My Fitness Pal didn't care about you, man? Didn't yell at you, man, when you weren't doing well? Like it didn't grab you and like nearly give you a
Not at all.
virtual choke, like wake up, like I did, like
Not
to get you
not at
back on
all.
track? Okay, okay. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, man, the apps right nowadays, everybody's trying to nap. And what I tell them is like that app really doesn't care, guys. At the end of the day, you put your information in, that's all you're doing, right? So what else did you try? I think it was keto. Did you do keto and a couple other things, Lawrence?
So no, I never really tried keto, but just trying to do everything on my own, and just trying to do what I did previously. I remember when I used to run the Spartan races and stuff like that. I did P90X,
Mm,
and I wasn't at that time doing P90X really much so much for the weight loss, but for the strength and everything else, and it was great. But I realized I was also 13 years, 14 years younger,
right.
and my
Absolutely.
body just wasn't responding the same. It was really now all about the diet and everything else.
Yeah, and so that's a great point because we get this a lot, right, Mohammed? Like where doctors think that, oh, you know what? I just got to work out. I used to work out years ago. I just got to start working out again to lose weight. What are your thoughts behind that, Lawrence?
Yeah, it's much more. So the workout is good. And I'll be the first to admit I was getting yelled at by Coach Seif again because I was not 100% compliant with the morning movements. But what I would do is I would work out at least 3 times a week, and then and what I noticed is as I was losing and as I was gaining strength, I wanted to work out more. And then I would work out more and more. And then the 3 times a week became 4 times a week. And it's just continuing. And now it's becoming more of a habit. And I have my schedule. I work out, and I even started bringing my son into it, which I absolutely love. And so we go to the gym together, and kind of lead by example, which I love.
So
Awesome, man. Being a
what I
great role
want
model, right? Yeah,
exactly
absolutely.
Yeah,
being a role model. So Lawrence, one thing that you mentioned, right? You said I wasn't perfect, right? I feel
yeah,
like, as docs, right? We always, dot our I's, cross our T's, right? Like all in or not, action potential. I'm either going to go all in or not. But the reality is life is not all in or nothing, right?
yeah,
So you're
absolutely.
saying to me right now that you weren't perfect and you still lost 31.2 pounds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then on top of that, you're gonna have periods where you're just not losing and you're trying to do everything right and you're just not losing. And you can ask Coach C, but I bothered him 100,000 times and
No
I
bother,
sent him
man. No
emails
bother. Yeah.
like what am I doing wrong? And he would say, Larry, trust the process. Trust the process. Keep it going. And he was always right. And I would say, I'm plateauing. He said, you're not plateauing. He said, trust the process. Or he would look through the foods that I ate and he would say, no, you're not getting enough water in, or your protein wasn't high enough here, or look at the sodium, look at the sodium, look at the sodium. The sodium was always huge. And so yeah, you're not going to be perfect, but dial in and stay with it, and it really works.
Right. And there's really you mentioned another great thing that there's no real cookie cutter solution here. Everyone's
Yeah,
different, right? And sometimes we make these conclusions that I was perfect, everything was perfect, and I'm still not seeing results, but the
right,
data shows otherwise. So that's the power
exactly.
of having personalized data. You can make personalized decisions.
Right. You're absolutely right. And you'll learn your body. That's the thing. Like I may not be the same as you, or you know, and what you respond to, you know, may be different than what I respond to. So it's you really through the process learn yourself and learn what works for you and what doesn't work for you. That with the foods, they give you a wide range of things, and you can really tailor your diet. So it's not like a Jenny Craig or these diets where they're saying eat this or you're saying eat this specifically. No, you know, you can kind of pick and choose within the acceptable foods, as long as you're getting your protein and you find what works and what doesn't. You know, some people red meat they won't lose. You know, I was able to, so I was able to eat steak. I like steak, and so
Absolutely.
and still lose. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a great point, right? Like the food sensitivity is a big part because we work from a gut health perspective, right? And so it's not just like, oh, let's just throw some foods together. These are really science-based approach, foods where, it really helps with the gut microbiomes as well. So we're trying to figure all that out, one-on-one, figuring out what works for you, what's keeping the metabolism revving up, right? What's keeping you maybe from not losing as much. So when we find those sensitivities, we can tweak them. And so, absolutely, man, I have docs where, like you said, red meat, you have a little bit of hamburgers, and all of a sudden they might not lose, but you continue to lose, right? Or there might be a certain type of fish or a certain type of protein or a certain type of carbohydrate, right? We don't get rid of carbs, but a certain type of carbohydrate that might affect your body differently than others. And I think that's the big part, that once you dial in, this becomes a lifestyle, right? And I think that's what you were trying to say, like all these foods, you figure out what works with your body well. Is it right?
Larry,
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit more about mindset? I think it's huge in this, in this profession that we're in, where like everything is pulling our attention, right? I mean, you're a doc, you're an attorney, you've got kids, you're right, you've got a family, like, the health usually takes the back burner, right? For all this. This is why we gain weight over the years. But can you just speak a little bit about like this mindset switch and like how you made the switch, how you maintained it, and why it's super important to make it?
Absolutely. It starts off in your head. You have to make a commitment to yourself that this is what I'm going to do. Results are phenomenal motivators. And so when you start seeing, it's a phenomenal motivator. When you start seeing those results, it's like gratification that you're doing the right thing. And even when like even when you have your little plateaus and you struggle, like I think that's where a lot of people fall off. And like when you're doing it on your own, and that's what I love about this program. Like for me, I needed that kick in the butt. I needed that motivation that Larry, you're not plateauing. Trust the process, keep it going, and it does work, because I have a lot of friends that have tried to do the same thing. And what happens is when you hit those areas where you feel like you're doing it right, and you're probably, you may or may not be, but you feel like you're doing it right, but you're hitting a temporary stall, you lose motivation. And so that's the reason I love it. That's the reason why I'm continuing. Even though I finished the 16 weeks, I'm continuing with you guys, because I think it's important, and I still have more weight I want to lose. I want to get a little better.
Awesome. So Larry, for those docs who like are on the fence, right? They know, there's this voice in the back of our head saying, man, I really need to start getting in shape. I really need to watch my health. I'm getting older. I'm in my 40s, 50s. Like, but they never jump, right? And sometimes it's a little bit too late when they do decide. So like for those guys who are on the fence, right, about getting started, like what kind of advice do you have for them?
Do it now, and do it before it's too late. I'll say this: my best friend in the world, another ER doc, just like me, and I remember he called me one day, and he said he goes to the gym and he works out. I consider him like a pretty healthy guy, and he called me and he said, Larry, my chest hurts. And I was like, "What?" He goes, I was working out, and my I don't know. He said it feels tight, more normal. I said, man, you need to get an EKG. And he's an ER doc. He knows better. Like he knows what to do. But uh, he went into his hospital and he asked the nurse to do an EKG. He was having a STEMI, and he ended up needing a stent in the LAD. And what's crazy, even crazier than that, is 2 months after that he had stent re-occlusion and had to go back because he had a second MI. And after that, when I saw what happened to my best friend, I said, no, 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 no. And I'm heavier than him. I was bigger than him, and it happened to him. And I said, I got to get my life together. I don't have time to wait. And at the time, he and I are 11 months apart, but I was 41, he was only 40 at the time. And so it's crazy. Unfortunately, it's 5 years later, I'm 46, he's 45, but and he's doing well, but got to get it together, because time will continue to pass, and you don't want to wait until it's too late.
Gotcha, man. No, thanks for sharing that, man. It's amazing. Yeah, sometimes unfortunately, these really close life stories wake us up, and we're like, oh, I can't be that guy, right? So, but let's never try to get to that point where we have to get scared of some type of health risk or something, whether it's to a loved one or whether it's with us, right? To get to that next level and say, you know what? Let me do some preventative stuff and get to the level where I can start taking care of myself and put it on cruise control. That's what you learn, cruise control. Be able to sustain it for life. And that's the biggest part, not to ever go back to having that yo-yo roller coaster. I got a quick few rapid fire questions, Mohammed, if that's okay.
Can I get one thing before you do the rapid fire? I love
Yeah.
your rapid fire, but I just want to touch on one thing, is that, Larry, when someone has 30, 40 pounds to lose, it might feel like a formidable task. Like, oh my God, how is this weight even going to come off? Some of our guys have 60, 70, 80 pounds to lose, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get beyond that, right? But more importantly, what I want to touch on is more so like the idea, like, is your life better than before? Like, yeah, it takes discipline to do something now, but how much better is your life 31 pounds lighter compared to before?
I'll say this: my energy. It's the energy. Energy is so much better. Like, so I work at the VA hospital, right? And so in order to walk into the ER, you have to go up this giant ramp, which I absolutely hated. Walking up that ramp, it was like a mini stress test every time you're walking into a shift. Now I jog up that ramp, and it's funny because I've gotten used to working out. I've gotten used to jogging on the treadmill, and that you realize it's not even a big thing anymore. It's nothing. I feel better. I wake up. I don't feel as bloated. My reflux, I had horrific reflux. I've lost 31 pounds. My reflux is almost completely gone away.
Nice.
And I do realize that it was almost completely related to my weight. Well, that and my diet. My diet has significantly improved as well. But I do feel much better. So I would say, all in all, things have improved quite a bit.
Awesome. And you live in the South too. So I remember last time when we spoke originally, you're like, there's nothing healthy around me. Everything's fried, everything's fatty.
It's true. Listen, I live in New Orleans, and New Orleans is the food capital of the world. Like they have some of the best food in the world here, and it's impossible. I even asked Coach Steve. I had to have some gumbo the other day. I had gumbo, and he fussed at me and said, Larry, that's loaded with sodium. And I said, I know, and I drank way more water, and I went and worked out immediately. But I had to have my gumbo.
As you should, as you should. But now you
Absolutely.
know what to do in those situations. It's not about just stripping everything off out of your life, stripping out all the foods you love. No, it's not. But it's how do you handle it so that way you're healthy and you feel strong and you're full of energy. Life gets better. I feel like a lot of docs, they've forgotten what life could be like. And it's like you shed this weight and you're just like, whoa, I didn't know I could feel this great.
Absolutely. I'll say this for the first time, and I haven't even told either of you this the other day. I hadn't been able to do pull-ups in years. And so I've been working out. I haven't tried it. I've been doing other things. I hadn't tried doing pull-ups again. And so I said, oh, let me just try it. And I was able to do 6 pull-ups without even thinking about it. And I said,
Wow.
that was a great
Amazing.
feeling. It was a great feeling to start getting that back. So I'm going to start incorporating that into my workout, because I want to get my pull-ups count back again.
Right. Amazing, man. All right. Quick rapid fire questions, man. And if Muhammad has some, join in, Muhammad.
Go ahead.
Larry, let's start with, did you have to become a hermit to do the program?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
You mean you didn't sequester yourself inside, just back to work, back and from, to work and back home, and no?
No, absolutely not. No, I didn't change much of anything. I just incorporated the diet into my schedule, into my work, and I've actually brought the family into it as well, and so it makes it easier.
Hold on, Larry. So you're not a bachelor with no kids, no relationship, no nothing. You were able to do this with kids, relationship, and everything else?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have my kids, and I bring it into, I bring them into it as well. And even my youngest son and I, we've made it a competition. We wanted to see who can, jog a mile the fastest and get the shortest time. Who can get to 12 minutes first? Who can get
Nice.
to?
Nice. Well,
and
talking
it's
about
great.
exercise, did you have to do grueling workouts like P90X to get results?
No, it's not. It's not grueling exercises at all. And I started off doing 30 minutes, because anything above that, I think I started off even less than that. I started off like 15 minutes, and then I moved up to 30 minutes, and I expanded, and now I'm doing about an hour at a time working out. But no, absolutely not. It's not necessary.
Nice. So it's not about grueling workouts, right? Got
No.
you. So a couple more questions, man. Did you have to eliminate all your carbs, especially your precious rice, man? You told me that you love rice.
I do love rice. No, I didn't have to. I didn't. And it's funny, because this is actually a funny story. Rice was on the plan even from the beginning, and I didn't realize that rice was on there. And so I had eliminated rice myself, and I love rice. I love rice. And so I remember asking Coach Seif one day. I said, Coach, can I add rice back in? He said, Larry, rice was always on there. And I said, oh.
And not one kind. There was like several kinds. I got like 4 different ones on the list. Right? You missed all 4. Right. Got you. Good, good. And I think you kind of bund this up a little bit, but like the biggest part here is this is not a diet, right? It's a lifestyle. Like we don't teach diets. Diets aren't sustainable. Like, do you feel like this is now becoming a lifestyle? Diet is like, I'm going to stop today. I'm going to pick up next week. You went to vacation. You had work trips, right? You weren't sequestered in your home to do this, right? You went to work. You're busy. You didn't prep every single day. So like, do you feel like it's a lifestyle as opposed to a diet like Jenny Craig?
Absolutely, it is 100% a lifestyle. And the like I said, the most important thing is you're not always like, when you're on a work trip. When I'm traveling, I just came back from New York with my kids, and we spent 8 hours in an airport because of flight delays and stuff like that. And you're not always going to be able to eat the healthiest, the best food at all times, but you know what to do, right? And so you know how your body is going to react. If to maintain your water, and if you gain, I remember, I think the biggest epiphany that you taught me, it was, and it was 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound, right? And so unless you're eating an excess of 3,500 calories above your basal rate, you're not actually gaining that pound. It's water weight, and that water weight can come off, right? And so if you're eating something and the sodium is higher, and you look and you're like, well, I only had 1,500 calories today, but I'm 2 pounds heavier because my sodium was high that day. It's water weight. And as soon as I got that into my head and realized that's water weight that will come off.
Right.
it allows you to relax, allows you to stay with the program, and then boom, it's gone.
Yep, absolutely, man. Well, that's all the questions I have, man. So I appreciate you. You've been doing amazing, Larry. Keep it up. You got any last words, Muhammad, for anybody that's watching for us?
For me, for anyone who's watching, any excuse in the book, the one that we hear the most is I'm too busy. Well, we've got right in front of you. ER doc, attorney, family man, travels, everything. You're not too busy, doc. This system seamlessly goes into your life. And if you're interested in a conversation to see if this works for you, just write lifestyle in the comments, and me, Coach C, for one of our coaches, will reach out. Larry, it is a huge pleasure. I appreciate you taking time out. Any last words for the docs in the group?
Absolutely. It'll be the best decision you make. I promise you. This is way more than a diet. It's way more than a program. Like you say, it's a lifestyle, and the education, it empowers you to then take care of yourself for life. And it's the best investment in yourself that you can make.
Awesome. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you, man.
There.
Look forward to continue to, coach you through and keep losing the weight. Got a little bit more to go. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care, man.
All right. Bye.